You voted, we reached 100 subscribers, and here's your episode, How to Journal for Mental Health. Let's do this. Oh, welcome back to the channel, my friend. I am so glad you're here. I hope you're having a fan-frickin-tastic day. It is a great day. My children have told me there are a couple of words that I overuse, and I need to not use those words today. So I will be doing my best to augment my vocabulary today. Man, before we jump into today's topic that you guys voted on, just some quick updates. Very loud truck. Man, things in the studio have been pretty awesome. Yesterday, I was privileged to hand over a piece of art for this semi-secret project that I've been working on, and I think I get to talk about it when it goes live in a couple of weeks. So man, I'm really excited about it. Really excited to share that with you guys. Some work that was done in the studio, doing a small seascape painting in watercolor and working on an icon for one of my patrons. And man, it's just great. It's just great to be in the studio doing the creative thing every day and making videos for you guys. Thank you so much to the 103 beautiful people that have subscribed to this channel. I am very thankful for you. Thank you for being on the journey with me. This is a lot of fun. When I finish making YouTube content, I'm pretty jazzed, man. It's a unique creative experience, and I am very thankful to share it with you. If you have not liked and subscribed and commented and hit the notification bell and done all the fun algorithm things, if you haven't done all that, please do that. Please continue to help us grow and make this deal even better. Dang it, there's one of the words I'm not supposed to use. I really love making this content for you guys. So, all that said, let's jump into what I think is gonna be a little bit of a longer video. So hang in there with me, see if we can't keep it maybe under 20 minutes. But the number one overwhelmingly voted for video topic that you guys voted for was how to journal for mental health. And I mean, all of them, that was the one I was hoping would get picked. Truthfully, I'm probably gonna make videos about all the other ones anyways, because when I typed all those up, I was like, oh man, this would be fun to make a video about each of these. But first, the one you guys voted for, and that's how to journal for mental health. And what I wanna do is I wanna break this up into 3 topics, 3 categories, so that you can come back and reference it and find the parts that you're looking for. So those 3 topics are real simply supplies, types of journaling, and what to journal about. And over those 3, hopefully when you finish this video today, that will give you enough content to take off on the journaling experience and make your cognitive wellness far better. Big thank you to my mom, who suggested the idea of this video, because we were talking about journaling and her own struggles with journaling. If nobody else benefits from this, I hope at least my mom, I love you mom, benefits from today's video. So let's jump into category number 1, supplies. What are the things that you need in order to journal for your mental health when it comes to journaling? All right, so I've got all my goodies here. I got all my things, all my parts and parcels. When it comes to journaling, you need a handful of things. You need a journal. You need, oh, hold on. I forgot to open it. It's a little leather bag that I made. You need some writing utensils, and you need time. Of all the supplies that I hear from people, that's a terrible sentence. Of all of the supplies needed, the one I get the most pushback from people is time. I don't have enough time. And the challenge I would give to you is look at your screen time on your phone and tell me in there somewhere you can't find 5 minutes. If I were to cut out one of the social media apps on your phone or computer, how much time would you have to journal? Now, Lent has just begun. And maybe you're not Catholic or Orthodox, or you don't have any kind of Lenten practice. That's fine. Whatever. That said, Lent is a great time to experiment with the giving up of something and the gaining of something. And when it comes to journaling for mental health, one of the best things you can do is cut out social media and use that time to journal. I promise you, if you'll do that, it will be worth it, right? So you need three things. You need time, you need a journal, and you need some pens. Now, none of this is very fancy, okay? This is a sketchbook that I got from a local store. It's like I think it's like a 9x11, 8x10, something like that. It's just big, empty. I like my pages to be blank because I'm an artist and I'm gonna draw. I've used line journals before. They're fine. I don't like it, so I just get the big sketchbook. Now, my morning journal, which is what I would call this, my morning journal, one of the things I like to do is collage the cover. So I'll buy an inexpensive $9 or $10 journal. I'll get some clippings from, you know, our bulletins at church or magazines or calendars, whatever, and I'll collage my own journal just using the cutouts that I have and some Elmer's glue. And it works, and it's great. And I love that every single one of my journals has a unique cover for that unique point and wherever I am in my season. So that's my journal. Now, there are lots of different journals that I will use throughout the day. This is my gratitude journal. It's just a little one. This is my poetry journal. This is fancier. I got this because I'm gonna spend a lot of time in these pages writing poetry. This is my poetry journal. This would work great as an everyday journal. It's smaller, the paper is great. You can use any kind of pen or ink or pencil. It works really well. These are great. This is field notes, right? So I've done this in a previous video. I think I did it in my EDC video. This is just field notes, right? And it's inside this little leather cover that I made because this is my pocket journal. These two journals right here are every day. I use both of these every single day, and when we get to the types of journaling category, I'll tell you what I do in these. But those are my journals. I love them, they work. I wish I was sponsored by Field Notes because I buy a lot of them and they're worth every penny. They're amazing. I love the way that they're organized, the way they're put together, the quality, all the little extras that come in the journal. Field Notes is amazing. You get 3 of these. You get 3 of these jokers for I think like 14 bucks. And for the quality that you get, that's amazing. They're really great. I might have to email Field Notes and ask them to sponsor this channel because that'd be cool. All right, so those are journals. We talked about time, how to get time, and then we talk about pens. There are 8 million different types of pens out there. It doesn't matter what you use. Grab something that you have and write with it. I use a couple of different pens. I have these Dryden fountain pens. These things are amazing. I love a fountain pen. If I had the time and the desire, I would probably even use like a dip quill pen, just because. But a fountain pen, man, you can't, like you just can't, there's no comparison. This is the best writing tool out there. And you can get really expensive fountain pens. You can get the Mont Blanc, you know, the really cool ones. I don't have one of those. This little dude, I think was, I don't know, 20, 25 bucks maybe. It's not that bad. I have 2 of them. I keep one in my pocket. I keep one in my backpack, and they're great. These are just Papermate Ink Joy ballpoint pens. These are great. I've used gel pens before. Depending on the gel pen, I really like them or love or hate them. But I use these colored pens because I like to have color in my journals, and that's fun. It feeds my artistic soul. So these are my pens. These are not expensive. They're not, like, you don't have to go out there and break the bank to journal for mental health. It's not required. It's just fun. So those are the things you need. You need journals, you need time, and you need something to write with. Now, the second category, we need to talk about types of journaling. So when it comes to journaling, there are as many different ways to journal and categories for how to journal as there are individual people. And that's probably the hardest part of journaling for mental health, is you have to take time to find what works for you. I've done a lot of different styles of journaling. I've done I have not done the prompts because I don't want to do the prompts, and I'll explain that later. I've done the lists, I've done the free flow. I like, oh man, I have to look her name up. Her name is, but she writes the book The Artist Way, and she talks about just basically like brain dumping onto a page for 3 pages. I've done that for a long time. It works really well. There's gratitude journaling. There's drawing instead of writing. Like, there's all kinds of different types of journaling. What I would encourage you to do is find one. So for example, let's just go with the easiest one, which is free form, right? Free form journaling is just sit down. Hey, Mockingbird. You just sit down with your journal and write for a predetermined amount of time. Let's say it's 5 minutes. 5 minutes is better than no minutes. 10 minutes would be amazing. But let's say you sit down for 5 minutes and you just free form journal, and you open the page and you have your pen and you're ready to go, and nothing comes to your brain. And you go, well, this was pointless. Incorrect. What I would tell you to do in that situation, like I've told the hundreds of teachers that I have coached over my career, if you have nothing to write, start with that. Sit down and think to yourself, I have nothing to write, and put that on the page. I have nothing to write, period. And then see if something comes to your brain. And when nothing comes to your brain, you go, I still have nothing to write. I think it's stupid to have to sit here for 5 minutes and write about the fact that I have nothing to write. Gosh, that's really irritating. Why is that really irritating? Well, it's really irritating. And next thing you know, you see how that works? You just, you take off. And even if you sat there and wrote for 5 minutes that you have nothing to write for 5 minutes, you'd be surprised at what that does for your brain, because now it's got you thinking. Now it's got your brain turning over like, oh, I wonder, you know. So let's say you do that, or maybe you do a gratitude journal. Maybe every day you sit down for 5 minutes, literally, like put a timer for 5 minutes, and you write down as many things as you can think of to be grateful for. Well, Garrett, maybe I don't have 5 minutes worth of things I'm grateful for. Well, to that I would reply, 1, I'm very sorry to hear that. That's sad. And 2, I bet you do, and you just don't know it, or you haven't thought about it. Like, are you thankful for socks? Socks are pretty nice. Socks keep your feet from stinking. Socks keep your feet in your shoes from stinking. Socks are pretty great, but nobody sits down and goes, I'm grateful for socks. But maybe we should.
No, you're not wrong.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
Because maybe if we spent 5 minutes every day writing down the things that we do, or the things that we have, or the things that we enjoy, and we did that for 5 minutes, our outlook on the day would be pretty amazing. Because we would see that we're surrounded by good things. When everything in the world around us is trying to tell us that we're too short, too tall, too fat, too thin, too ugly, too pretty, whatever. All the things that the world is trying to tell us are bad, we counterbalance that with, hey, look at all these really good things in my life. That would be an amazing way to spend 5 minutes journaling. And the mental well-being you would get out of that would be amazing. Because I've done it, and I do it every day. I write down in my little gratitude journal 7 or 8 things that I'm grateful for. And it really does change how you view your day, because you start to realize you have all of these amazing things. So that's one option. Now, I'll show you what I do currently, my favorite type of journaling. And my favorite type of journaling right now is a combination of free-form writing and drawing, right? So this was today. I don't know if that even shows up, but this was today. This is my journaling. And in there, I've got drawings and thoughts and random things. I've got all kinds of stuff. Stuff that I'm excited about, stuff I'm not excited about, stuff I'm learning. I'm interacting with content that I watched on YouTube. Like I was watching Father Columba. I think I posted him in the people that inspired me. He was talking about something and I really wanted to engage with that idea in my journal and write about it. So I did that. That works for me. Of all the different ways that I've journaled, that's probably my favorite. Or just sit down and I let the thoughts come to my mind, and I let the images come to my mind, and I draw them out, or I write them out, or I do both. I add some color. And that's just good for my brain. I do the same thing in my pocket journal. So this is my pocket journal. This was yesterday, right? This is throughout the day, the different things that I was thinking about, different thoughts that came to my mind, different things I needed to make sure, right? So I've got these essential tasks, right here. In my essential tasks, those are the things that I need to make sure that I get done today. And one of the reasons that that helps my mental well-being is that I'm not trying to hang on to my to-do list in my brain. It's concretized, it's solidified somewhere on paper, and I can just refer to it every time I go back to my pocket journal, whether that's at lunch or during a break or in between classes or at the end of the day. I don't have to try and hold all my things together. I can compartmentalize them and refer to them whenever I need to. Now, one of the things that I did not mention in the supplies category that you will notice is that there's no cell phone in this conglomeration of things. You will never hear me advocate for journaling on a phone. Because one, you do not get the same physical and mental benefit from writing on your phone as you do writing with a pen on paper. And two, it's just too distracting. I've seen how most people have their phones set up, and it's constantly bzz, burp, zzz, zerp, zzz. Like it's all. How does anybody get anything done with that thing constantly trying to drag away your attention? See, the chickens, they agree. Phones are a bad idea. So you're never going to hear me advocate for the journaling on a phone. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Just set that sucker aside for 10 minutes and write on paper. Get the benefit of writing on paper. So those are some different categories, some different things that you can do to try. But like I said earlier, the hardest part will be trying to figure out what works. You know, my mom was sharing that journaling wasn't working for her. And in thinking about that later, I wondered, maybe that's because the style of journaling that she's using isn't right for her personality. Some people are going to benefit from listing out their day, listing out their good things, and just making lists after list after list. And I bet for some people, they do that for 5 or 10 minutes, their mental well-being is just exponentially better. That would drive me insane. It would not be life-giving. I don't do that. I tried, you know, like in my pocket journal, I tried for a long time to just do lists. But it didn't work. It didn't do any good for my brain. When I started drawing in my pocket journal, when I started drawing in my daily journal and writing about the things that I was drawing, that helped. That helped a lot. So you're gonna have to take time. It might take you 6 months to figure out what style of journaling works for you. Pick a style, journal, commit. Like, I'm in for 10 minutes a day for the next 6 weeks. And just see what happens. And if it sucks, great, you found a style that doesn't work for you. Find another type of journaling. Maybe you would benefit from going online. Like, see, I don't think you need one of those like fancy printed, here's your prompt for the day journal. I mean, great, if that works for you, cool. I just don't think it's necessary. Go to Google, look up journaling prompts, copy and paste 50 of them, print it out, glue it into your journal, and then every time you need a prompt, boom, there it is in the inside cover. Oh, the prompt for today is why I love these videos. Okay? Wait, you, like, find a prompt and then write about it. That, number one, it saves you money. Number two, you get to kind of pick and choose, which I think there's some great benefit to that. So that's the types of journaling that you can do for your mental well-being. The last category is, what do you write about? So in the what category, what do I write about? I will tell you to write about everything. Write about all of it. The journal that you have should be the one place where you can say anything and everything that you need to say in order to get the toxic thoughts out of your brain. That's it. Man, my spouse sucks at life. They're terrible, I hate them, their feet smell, and they can't mow the yard in a straight line. Whatever, I don't know. None of those things are true about my wife, by the way. None of those things are true. Okay, just a hyperbolic example. The point is, in your journal, you should be able to say anything and everything that you need to say. Now, some people will say, well, I can't do that because what if my spouse reads it? If your spouse reads your journal, that's a whole different problem. My wife knows you do not go into my journal, because there are things in there she doth not needeth to see. And there are things in her journal I don't need to see. That's her private space. I don't need to go in there. And she doesn't need to come into my space. And we have that understanding. If you don't have that understanding, that's a different kind of work that you need to do with your roommate or your spouse or whoever you dwell with that you're concerned will read your journal. I have said a lot of things about a lot of people in my journal, some of which I think I've had to go to confession for. And it's fine, but you should be able to say anything and everything you want to say. Now, more than what do I journal about, the thing that I think will help your mental well-being more so than what do I write is what does my writing say? And I don't mean literally the words. But one of the things that I've noticed is that people will write stuff, but then they won't engage with the material. And what I mean by that is, every now and then, go back through your journal. Look at the things you're writing about. Look at common themes. Look at common statements. What are the things that keep popping up in your journal? Because those are probably the things that you need to deal with. Those are probably the things that you need to engage with so that you can grow and heal parts of your brain that need healing. I was looking at this morning, preparing for this video. I notice in my journal right now, I see a lot of stars and a lot of arrows. And I took a few minutes to try and figure out, what do those mean? Why do I keep drawing stars? Specifically, why do I keep drawing stars around certain categories of things? And so I wrote about that. I drew in my journal some stars and some arrows, and put some equal signs, and so, stars for me represent light and goodness and help in the darkness. They're really hopeful symbols for me. And I noticed that I put them around things that give me hope. And arrows are about direction and purpose. And I've noticed that in my journal, I really try to emphasize and point to things that are really important for me to come back and think about. But what are the things that are happening in your journal that are common? Are there themes about your work? Are you disenfranchised with the work you're doing? And that seems to be a common theme. Maybe you need to think about finding a different job or a different line of work, or changing your perspective on what work you do. There's all kinds of ways to process and analyze the things that you journal about. And that, more than anything, will help you grow and will help your mental well-being. Just let the thoughts out on the paper. No judgment, no hardship, no, oh, I can't believe I thought that. If you're a teacher and you find yourself commonly writing things like, gosh, I hate my students, they are the worst human beings on the planet, maybe you need to think about why that is. Why do you feel that way? What is it about your students that have that phrase coming up in your journal often? Maybe it's the students, maybe it's you. I don't know. You need to process that. But once you've started to just let the thoughts out, whether it's through a prompt or a drawing or a free form, just writing it out, take time to analyze that. Take time to go back and think, okay, I've said some things here. What is that indicating about the inner me that's trying to speak? And let that stuff get processed. Then maybe you take that thought and you go to your spouse and you're like, hey, I've noticed in my journal, I'm really frustrated with my job. Have you noticed that when I'm at home talking about my work? Why do you think I'm frustrated? My wife would be an epic person to have that conversation with, because we've been married 20 years. She knows what's going on in here 99% of the time. And she can tell when it's a school thing and when it's a me thing. And she will very gently say, well, I think, you're kind of looking at it the wrong way. You seem to be really bothered by this, but it's really you doing this thing that's keeping you from enjoying your job. That's what the journal is for. It's a place to just dump all your thoughts and then go back and review it and look at it and process it and see what's going on in your head. The number one reason... Oh, that's a new bird. Oh, that's a starling. Whoa, that's cool. We don't see those a lot around here. Anyways, it's a starling. The number one reason I tell people they need a journal is because you need a place to get all of the stuff, good and bad, that's in here out. Because if you don't get it out, it just circulates and it circulates, and it's like bad air. Eventually it just toxifies. I think that's a word. It just becomes more and more toxic. But when you journal and when you get those thoughts out, then you have some space to step back and go, golly, what's going on in my inner world? Why am I so frustrated? Why am I so happy? What's going on in my life? What am I doing that is bringing me so much joy? Because I need to keep doing those things. That's a great idea. That's a great way to journal. Journaling is not all just doom and gloom. What are the things in your life that are beautiful? Write about that, because whatever you're doing that's bringing you joy, you need to do more of it. And keep doing that. And keep writing about it. Journaling isn't some mystical mumbo jumbo whatever. It really is a peaceful place to go and look at your inner world in all of its beauty, in all of its darkness, and get some fresh perspective on what you actually think about life. And then take the time to figure out how to do more of the good and less of the bad. Journaling is a great tool for that. It's not a silver bullet. It's not going to fix all your problems, but it will improve your mental well-being if you consistently show up. I show up every day in my journal, every single day, unless I am running a fever or throwing up. Those were the rules when I was a kid in school. You had to do the deal unless you were feverish or throwing up. But every day, 7 days a week, I'm in my journal. I hope that helps. I've been journaling for almost 14 years every single day. And I cannot tell you how great it has been for my inner development, my personal growth, and my mental well-being. I would not be who I am were I not journaling every single day. So I encourage you, take the time, commit to 6 months, because it'll take a long time for you to figure out what works and what helps you with your mental wellness. It will take that long, but it's worth it. It's worth putting the work in. If you find a style that's not working, try something else. And keep trying until you find the thing that when you put your journal down, you're like, I wish I could do some more of that, but I got to go to work. That's the thing you need to keep doing. All right, my friends, that's all I've got for you. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope that you, by the end of today, after you finish watching this video, go get you a journal, some pens, find some time, and let journaling improve your mental well-being, because I promise you it will. Have a great rest of your day. Until I see you next time, keep climbing.